You're listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast, a Texas Tech athletics podcast where food and sports clash at the goal line. Here are your hosts, Spencer and Michael.
All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 23 Personnel Podcast. This is your host, Spencer, joined by Michael. Michael, what's up, man?
I'm just over here ready for the offseason. I think I'm there. I think I'm there now. We can move on to other things possibly soon, quite soon.
We have a great lineup of off-season content. We're gonna talk about goated flavor combinations.
Yeah, that's true.
Or food combinations. May have just lost Michael. We'll see.
Oh, no.
Still there? Oh,
yes.
No, can't. Fantastic.
Oh, no. So Spencer's
gone.
Are
we back? We're back. Hold on.
Spencer's back now. Am I back?
You're back, but now the audio is just a smidge off.
Maybe it'll catch back up.
Are you there?
Yes.
Oh, there we are. All right.
See, it's fine.
The shortest audio glitch we've probably ever had. We'll just do it live.
Just power through it.
Power through. Thanks, Road. Thanks, Mac. Thanks, Riverside. Combination, not goated. Hate this combination.
It's a cocktail of sorts.
Yeah. So we'll get into that probably. We'll probably tee up some of the combinations we have in mind. We need to hear others from you guys. And
yes,
we're not talking about like Oreos and mustard, which I've heard is really, really good.
What?
That's not what we're talking about. I know.
GTFO.
Talking about like avocado, lime, cilantro,
okay,
peanut butter jelly, chili lime, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I do have some oddballs in there though.
Pizza and ranch is not oddball.
Oh no. There's a couple you haven't seen yet.
So we'll get.
I think I've talked about before, but we have new listeners all the time, probably. So
all the time.
I have to throw that out there.
Of course, we'll have to get to a Little League update because we're no longer undefeated. Tell you about the heroics on the mound from Ace number 95, Grayson Rogers.
Hang on, you were never undefeated.
We were other way around. We were winless. No longer winless.
There you go.
Flip it and reverse it. Everybody.
Yes. The limit does exist.
Oh yeah. Not tonight. We had a comfortable lead going into the top of the fourth, which is one of the furthest we've gotten into a game. Got a little hairy there when Grayson got pulled because he'd hit his pitch limit. It happens, right? He had pitched 3+ innings.
Solid work from your leadoff guy.
It was fantastic. I loved every second of it. We'll talk about that. Roster updates basketball wise, guys in and out, landing spots. I'm sure we've talked about all of them, but we'll give an update for those that are keeping track. As I was doing that today, Michael, I was looking around. Interesting connection there on the Drake team. We'll talk about that.
Team Drake? Your Team Drake? Is that what you're saying?
No. I don't.
Okay.
I'm not wading into all that kind of stuff with Kendrick Lamar and Drake or whatever. It doesn't even. I don't even know.
I don't know either. I know like third hand through Twitter, which is that's not much. It's not much, people.
Not much.
But I think Kendrick Lamar is winning. That much I've heard. I've gathered.
Sure.
So I was surprised to learn you were Team Drake. That's all. Loves the Drake. Spencer, always.
Sorry, I got.
Did you short circuit?
No, I got a text message. The name was familiar, but not the content of the text is like. I'm coordinating with a local radio host. To get back a banner we loaned out for a big work event this weekend. I was like, I did give him my phone number so we can coordinate that. I didn't respond to his email, so he texted me. But I was reading it. It was talking about my mom. I was like, Why would you be talking about my mom? It's a florist with the same name who I'm trying to coordinate flowers for my mom
for Mother's
Day.
Day. There you go.
I was like, why is Chuck texting me about my mom?
I am buying my mom fajitas for Mother's Day. A lovely
I need to figure out what we're
bouquet
doing.
of fajitas.
Skirt steak.
Yes.
Need to figure out what we're doing for Samantha. So
yeah, I've got to get that. I've got to get that taken care of. I've got it on my calendar to go Mother's Day shopping tomorrow. It just got away from me. I've got one thing. I have one thing, but it's kind of from our daughter, even though I ordered it. So I don't know how much credit I'm going to get. But anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
So Mother's Day, yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about we do have a question from Kyle. We'll talk about also food related. Wrap up with what do we learn? Baseball will probably be in there somewhere. That's not Little League, but
is it?
Or is it? Yeah, good point. So let's just jump into basketball. I don't have anything for football. We're in the off season there for sure. Basketball, I'm sure, maybe you're keeping up with the ins and outs on the roster, right, Michael? Everybody knows where everybody's going.
I have a modicum of clue.
Pop Isaac's going to Creighton.
Yes, that I knew.
Bob Jennings to Oklahoma State. We talked about that last week. Demarion Williams to High Point.
Oh, that's new.
What is High Point? I thought this was a football term about where to catch a ball. But
well, it's also, I think it's what they call the elbow sometimes. The free throw line. At the corner of the lane.
See, I couldn't tell you. Best of luck to him. And Lamar Washington Pacific, I know he was the first one to announce. And then guys coming in, Minnesota transfer guard Elijah Hawkins. We talked about that. Drake guard Kevin Overton. Here's where the interesting connection I found. I was finalizing this little note. So everybody knows Coach DeVries from Drake is now the head coach at West Virginia, taking his son with him. Uber talented dude. Did you know who the new Drake head coach is, Michael?
No, not till
Ben McCollum,
who was linked to Texas Tech, right?
Mm-hmm. Multiple times. I think both times it was open with Adams and with McCaslin. McCollum's name came up, and it was like, well, can he transition to D1 because he was at like Northwest Missouri State or some small podunk school.
Hurtful.
Super successful. Like won 1,000 games and lost like 7. I'm exaggerating there. I don't know the actual numbers, but super successful at his last stop. But enough of a talent jump. You're like, can that be replicated? We'll see. He's now getting a shot at Drake. So, and then Pitt center Federico. And then the newest one is a prep commit. So you get your high school commit of the class. Although prep school is not technically high school. I don't know how it's classified that way with the NCAA. Of all the places to say, yeah, prep school is high school, like you wouldn't think NCAA would be on board with that. But anyways, forward Leon Horner coming out of the Metroplex at a dynamic prep. So graduated high school 2022, 1 year at prep school 2023, and will be a freshman at Texas Tech 2024. But you love that. You get an old, a year older, more mature, more experienced freshman. So, anywho,
4 out, 4 in.
Yeah, and you're not done. I think
Even
you've still got a couple of spots still to fill because the out are not including the grads.
Yeah, seniors.
With Toussaint and Washington and the others.
Those might have been the only two. Were those the only two?
I guess I'm not counting Steph as an out because he's been out for a minute.
Yeah, he's been gone. Yeah.
Anyways, so there's your round ball roster update.
Would you like
softball?
a quick softball update? Yeah.
Would love to do softball.
So here we go. The ladies had a rough weekend. Hosted number one.
Well,
let me stress this. Let me stress this again. The number one team in the whole dang country. The number one team in the United States of America when it comes to collegiate softball. The Texas Longhorns came to town. Unfortunately, displayed how well they could play at this level, and I think they won their 20 something games in a row now. They swept the Red Raiders, unfortunately, and all games were called in the 5th inning. So Friday night, 3-13 loss. Saturday, 23-0 loss.
Ouch.
And then Sunday, 14-4 loss. So outscored a total of 50-7 in 15 innings. But good time to honor the seniors. That's their last time there. As Seeing Scarlet pointed out on Twitter, it was really big of them to stick around through kind of the turmoil that happened a couple seasons ago. Yeah, with the coaching change and why that coaching change was made. So the fact that there were so many, I don't want to say, older players that stuck around, that was great to see. But the season, unfortunately, is over, at least the regular season. The Big 12 tournament starts tomorrow, starts Wednesday, May 8th. Yeah, and Texas Tech will play Iowa State. Texas Tech is an 8th seed in the tournament. Iowa State is a 9 seed. And, of course, for those of you who followed even tangentially or just listened to us a little bit, Iowa State and Texas Tech did not play this season because of a canceled series due to weather that the Big 12 never bothered to reschedule. So this will be their first matchup this entire season. So that's who knows how that's going to go. But if Texas Tech is able to win, they will then turn right back around and face number 1 UT again on Thursday at 5 p.m. So I hope they can get that first win. I think that'd be great, especially against a team they haven't played yet. But it's going to get tough to get past UT if they do. So there's your softball update. As always, go to seeing dash. I have so much trouble with that, with saying the word dash. What's wrong with me? Okay, go to seeing-scarlet.com to follow the women of Texas Tech athletics and give Shelby and Sibby some clicks, and always listen to their podcast, Seeing Scarlet, that you can also find on Twitter under the same name. I believe on Instagram under the same name. And they will keep you way more plugged in than we ever could.
And it is a single elimination tournament. So
yes, it would be one and done if they lose on Wednesday. Let me be really specific.
Yeah. Baseball happened this weekend.
Woohoo!
I saw this and I want to, I guess, just mention it because like it feels like sour grapes and like stupid to not even acknowledge it. But have you just absolutely disappeared across the entire athletic department in your final shots against Texas and Oklahoma this season?
Oh,
you lost to both of them in literally everything. Like you got spanked on their way out the door in everything.
Oh my gosh. I hadn't thought of that since it happened in basketball. For some reason, I just hadn't thought of it yet.
Well,
or since it happened against UT early on in Big 12 playing baseball. I guess I did think of it then, but man, yeah, the way Tech was swept in baseball by OU this weekend and in softball by UT in the same weekend. I don't know how I missed that revelation. This is new to me. Well, and it hurts. It hurts a little bit.
You did defeat the Longhorns in basketball, men's basketball in Austin.
Yes. But then we're pantsed at home.
You did beat Oklahoma in Norman in men's basketball. But then you lost, like you said, by 22 points to Texas and Lubbock. You only played Oklahoma once. Let's put it that way. So you didn't lose them twice. So you didn't
play Oklahoma in football either.
Okay, so let me adjust that.
It's not
Texas
as bad.
for sure.
Yes.
You've taken the beating on the ugly tree.
Rough. Tough hang.
Baseball this weekend at home too. Like I would have understood this result if you were in Norman. And we talked about like how the stats don't tell the full story of how Oklahoma and Texas Tech are so different, since they were so similar on paper. Did not play out that way. They are 18-6 in conference play, first in the Big 12. You still have more wins than they do. You have a couple more losses than they do. But yeah, this weekend you lost 8-0 on Friday, 7-5 on Saturday, so closer, more competitive, and 8-7 on Sunday. And you had a shot. You had a golden opportunity to walk it off on Sunday. You had runners on second and third and nobody out.
Well, and needed it too, because weren't they down 3 going into that inning?
Yeah, you had already scored 2 runs, the bottom of the ninth. And then you strand the tying run at third, winning run at second, to get swept on the weekend by the Sooners. So we had kind of joked about it. Like we had gone in the span of like it's been like a week and a half at this point, saying there's a possibility you could play yourself into hosting a regional conversation. And now you've played yourself almost out of the Big 12 tournament. You could miss all postseason play.
Yeah, just to back up that statement. So I left all 3 in here. 2 podcast episodes ago, Texas Tech was 28 in RPI.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, that dropped to 40.
12 spots.
And then today, another dirty dozen, down to 52.
You know how many teams make the postseason tournament? 64. So technically, you're in top 64 RPI, but it's not just RPI.
Gonna get a 4 seed against Tennessee.
You're as a major conference player, you're not going to make a 4 seed. You're just not. They're not going to give that to you. You need to be the top 3 seeds. So cutoff there is like 48.
3 seed or yeah, 3 seed or bust.
You're definitely not getting 10 Big 12 teams in the regionals, and you're 10th in the Big 12 right now. You don't have a midweek this week, and then you go to Stillwater.
Easy road trip.
Well, historically, you've done really well against Oklahoma State the past few seasons. So whether you want to say historically, like you've done well, or if you want to say Oklahoma State's due, both are valid because you were definitely trending in the wrong direction. You had not had a Big 12 home sweep, or at least not against Oklahoma, since 2007 till this weekend. I know a lot of people are like, I can understand, and it's valid to say like things need to change. It's also valid to say like this is a blip, like we're just kind of spoiled with the success. But also, if you're talking about the worst season in 15 years, it's okay to say something needs to change.
Still won 30 games.
Still won 30 games, but you're 10th in the Big 12, on the verge of missing the conference tournament, which you hadn't missed in, I think I heard the Gauchos say 13 years. Granted, well, no, this is actually going to hurt that argument. When you missed it, they only took like 8 teams or 6 or whatever. It was a smaller field. You hadn't been this low in the Big 12 in many, many years.
It's just a high year for the Big 12. That's all it is. But no,
Is it though? It's
I
really
know.
not.
Not to diminish what you're saying or what other folks are feeling, but it is. I'm leaning towards the blip side of things just because it makes me feel better.
Sure.
But if it's not, then what? I'm not ready to make like barn burning changes. I am not ready for that. I don't think that's warranted or worthy, but it's on a lot of people's mind. But like you said, I do think we are spoiled to an extent and just have to
for sure
assume that this season was an outlier, was an anomaly, and then next season be right back in the mix, at least in the top 4 or 5 of the conference when all is said and done, with a chance to host a regional.
To your point about Big 12 being down, I mean, you were picked to finish 4th in the conference. TCU was picked to win the whole thing and to lose like 4 total games. We saw how that's turned out. Oklahoma's kind of surprised.
Yeah.
In a good way. Texas struggled early. I think they've been surging lately. But it's like it's weird. Like we talked about every week, your offense statistically is really, really good, and when it's on, it's really good. It's not consistent.
Well, and what's crazy about Oklahoma is outside of conference, they're 11-11. Big whoop. But in conference, they have destroyed everybody with an 18-6 record, except for that series against Texas where Texas won all 3, even the one that was called short due to the weather.
Yeah,
I think that's right. But yeah, outside of conference, 11-11. It's not like they have kind of just come out of nowhere and somehow figured out conference play. Pretty crazy.
Yeah. Not that it matters. Like I said, offensively, you're first in the Big 12 in average runs per game, hits, walks, on base percentage, doubles. Although you're tied for first with doubles. You're second in hit by pitch and slugging percentage, third in home runs. Damian Bravo is still first in the Big 12 in batting average. Pitching, 9th. So your record is much more closely associated to your pitching ERA than your offensive average, which is first, because you're 10th in the Big 12 and you're 9th in ERA. Your starters are carrying an ERA just under 6. 588. Opponents are teeing off 285. Bullpen, not that much better, because you go through stretches where like a guy will come like, man, he looks really good. And then you just got like a group of guys that can't get an out. Bullpen is a 516 ERA. Both have similar, almost identical whips, 165, 164. Bullpen's giving up a 280 opponent batting average. So your combined staff's 541, and that's your 9th in the Big 12 there. Your fielding percentage, you're now tied for last in the Big 12.
With the team you're about to
errors.
play, at least.
58 errors in 50 games. Like Pompey, my goodness, he's had a rough stretch this weekend. I think he had like back-to-back errors. I think he had 4 in the weekend by himself. We mentioned no midweek, so you're on the road versus number 19 Oklahoma State. They are 32-16, 15-9 in Big 12 play, tied for second with Texas and West Virginia. They just lost a series in Austin, 2-1. 6 p.m. starts Friday and Saturday, so you can get a night game Saturday. And then Sunday matinee, 2 p.m. And then you've got the Arizona tournament next week. Arizona State on Thursday, UNLV Friday at 3, Arizona State again Friday night at 8:30. And then the Big 12 tournament starts 2 weeks from today, the 21st. If you make it.
Yeah.
Regionals start 10 days after that, May 31st. If you make it. You almost need to win out at this point. You the bare minimum have to win the series in Stillwater, right?
I think so.
And just you probably need to win 4 of your last 6.
Well, because then I haven't looked to see who all still plays, but then Tech's done. Tech has made their case, but there are a handful of Big 12 series still left to be played the weekend that Texas Tech is in Arizona.
Yeah.
So that doesn't help things. So yes, win is at least a series win to maybe not even guarantee your chance to make the Big 12 tournament. And just looking around, so it didn't change it. I was going to give a weather update because that's how my mind works for how Stillwater, Oklahoma is going to look this weekend. But the Weather Channel is being really stupid on the website. It just keeps telling me Lubbock over and over, which is fine. That's great. That's what I want to know.
But beautiful weather this weekend.
Not right now.
In Stillwater, at least. Friday, high of 75, clear. Clear on Saturday, high of 80. Cloudy on Sunday, high of 80. But minimal chances for precipitation Sunday night. That's about it.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good.
If you're going to Obrate,
hopefully they can get these games played.
It's a great looking stadium, so probably very low probability of missing out if you're in the area and want to check out that fantastic facility. But anyways, you need to win. Offensively, Oklahoma State, average-wise, not very good, but they are a swing for the fences type of offense. They bat .282, but their slugging is .508 compared to your .525. They've hit 90 home runs on the year to your 81. They've scored 50 fewer runs on the season. They've struck out 50 more times than you have, and they're almost identical there on stolen bases. Texas Tech is now 48 of 54. Oklahoma State is 45 of 56. So you have almost a 30-point advantage there on average, but everything else is fairly similar, except for power, home run power. Where they're better, though, is defensively and on the mound. They let opponents bat .240 against their pitching staff, whereas Texas Tech is giving up .282 average, .438 combined ERA to Texas .541. Only surrendered 162 walks. Texas Tech has given up 70 more, .232. They've given up 57 home runs, which is a number. Texas Tech has given up 62. They've given up 204 runs to your 303. They've struck out a ton of batters. They're really good at getting the strikeout. 528 strikeouts on the season. Texas Tech is 100 fewer, 429. Fielding percentage, though, like Michael said, you're right there with them. Tied. Tied for last. That ERA is second in the Big 12 for Oklahoma State at 438. Whereas, like I said, Texas Tech is ninth. Their weekend starters, Brian Holiday, not that Holiday, but Brian Holiday, 370 ERA, whip under 1. He's 4-3 on the season through 12 starts. Has a complete game this season. Has thrown 80 in a third innings, given up 60 hits, 35 runs, 16 walks to 87 strikeouts. My goodness. Has given up 11 home runs, though, but opponents are batting only 200 against him. The other starter you'll see is Sam Garcia, 398 ERA, also 4-3 on the season. WHIP just over 1.14. 63 and a third innings, also giving up 60 hits. So Brian Holiday, 80 innings, 60 hits. Sam Garcia, 63 innings, 60 hits. Holiday's pretty good. Otherwise, the numbers are fairly similar. 12 walks to 85 strikeouts, 244 opponent batting average. So their starters are really good. Obviously, when the team is carrying a 4.38 ERA as well, I mean, their bullpen is going to be. Anyways, they're strong offensively, power wise at least, and defensively on the mound.
Which is probably enough to win 3 games.
Yeah, because you struggle on the road offensively, and when you run into a pitching staff like you'll see from the Cowboys, it may be maybe too much. But you need a series win this weekend. You need it. We need air. So, got anything else on baseball, Michael?
I do not.
Hate that we're in this position.
I know. It's really, we should be talking about possible regional matchups instead of will we make the conference tournament? And I don't know.
Are we going to win? And
what would you down? Okay, if you had to pick right now based off what you know, and there's 2 more weeks of Big 12 play, will Texas Tech make the conference tournament?
No.
I don't think so either.
Well, hold on. Because I actually think the Big 12 standings, let's see, you may be pretty comfortable there depending on what. Well, okay. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, 10. Okay, you're at 10th, 12 and 15. Baylor is 11th at 9 and 15. So you need to be swept. Baylor needs to sweep to tie, but then they would get the tiebreaker.
So,
and who are they playing?
They are this weekend. They're playing Oklahoma.
All right, so we just need Oklahoma to win 1 game, and then you're going to be in.
But then next weekend Baylor plays UCF.
Are they 2 series behind? No,
like everybody is.
Oh, because we still have a series. They have 2 series. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So okay, the last weekend that Texas Tech is doing their Arizona thing, Oklahoma goes to Cincinnati, BYU goes to K-State, West Virginia goes to TCU, UCF goes to. I mean, like everybody's playing Big 12 baseball
except for TCU, because they've also played 27.
No, West Virginia plays TCU on Thursday, May 16th.
Then TCU does not have a home series this weekend or a Big 12 series this weekend.
They must be off this weekend. You're right.
But everybody else is 3 conference games behind you.
They're not off. They're playing they're hosting New Mexico State for a series this weekend.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And Houston is actually just missing a game. They're 6 and 17. BYU is 6 and 18.
So on that last weekend, Oklahoma State will go to Houston, and Kansas will go to Texas, and like we mentioned, UCF will go to Baylor. So there's still a lot of kind of flux there. Not so much. I mean, the top dogs, West Virginia, yeah, they're going on the road against TCU. That could matter. Oklahoma State going to Houston could matter, but probably not. Oklahoma going to Cincinnati could matter, but probably not. So there's definitely some play in there. You know, Kansas is playing some decent ball, but they're going to Austin. And that's not a great trip.
Okay, so anybody. I revised my statement. Baylor needs to win 3 games out of their next 6. If
to help Texas Tech out.
If Texas, to help us sit
There's
home.
too many ifs right now, isn't there?
If Texas Tech is swept, Baylor needs 3 wins. For every game that Texas Tech wins, Baylor has to add a game to their win over their last 6.
This will be so much easier next week.
Yeah, we'll just say they need this many games. Right now, they're 3 games behind.
Texas Tech will have turned in their final exam on Sunday, and then everyone else is still they're still working. They have the take home exam, so we won't know what the scores will be till the take homes are turned in.
But if they steal a game from Oklahoma, and all they have to do is win the series against UCF, it's not that far out of the question since UCF is 9th in the conference and Baylor's 11th. Like, they're not separated by that much. I don't like it.
I don't like
but
it.
But we'll know a whole lot more next week. All right, this chair is creaking because I can't sit still. Let's get to questions and wrap up with what do we learn. We may be out of here in record time, which is okay. Baseball is kicking our butt. Let's do questions first. What do you think? What do you think, Michael? What are you thinking about?
I think we should.
All right.
Now, are these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
Who's in the box? What's in the box?
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Damn it! Who typed a question mark on the teleprompter?
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
All right, so we talked about best flavor combinations. We'll need your input. We may do like a bracket on this and put it to the people if I get that committed to this.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, we'll go through some of the ones we already have. Submit your thoughts. We'll finesse this and flesh it out and figure something else out. But best flavor combinations. We'll break it down, run through, but we're talking about like avocado, lime, cilantro. That's got to be up there. Lime is just key for everything. You put lime in salsa, you put lime with chili, like spicy chili, not like Texas red. Although,
yeah, I thought, well, I mean, I'd try it.
Peanut butter jelly, which is more of just like just a base like sweet and salty mix. Chili lime, cinnamon sugar, cinnamon honey, mustard and mayo. Michael hates this, but ketchup and mustard.
Okay.
Ketchup and mayo.
I feel like last week I gave ketchup a bad rap. I like ketchup, and I realized how many different ways I like ketchup as I was putting this together, but just not on a hot dog. I think that's just it. That's just all there is to it. But yeah, like you were saying, ketchup and mayo, the Burger King way, approve. Ketchup and mustard, like a McDonald's cheeseburger or a quarter pounder. No issues there. I threw in another one that people are probably going to hate that I used to do as a kid, and I stopped doing because I got weird looks. Ketchup and tartar sauce. I would kind of like not blend it to the point where it's pink, but they would dabble together when I had fish sticks. Okay. And another ketchup one that's kind of the same exact thing. White gravy. I've eaten many a Dairy Queen country basket in my day, and sometimes you had to liven them up a little bit. And one way to do that was to dip the steak finger in ketchup and then dip it in the gravy and enjoy yourself. And just don't let the haters keep hating.
I don't know if I've ever done like the same fry or chicken strip or steak finger into both simultaneously, but I have alternated before.
I've definitely done both.
And didn't hate when they mixed, but it was never like intentional, like I'm gonna get it. I'm not like mixing ketchup into gravy, but I'm like doing both. But
I wouldn't do that. There would be some coincidental mixing, but never like, oh, I'm just gonna squeeze ketchup packets into my gravy. And it was like, no, the ketchup was over here, the gravy was here, but they would come into contact via the steak finger. Or with chicken fried steak, it's smothered in gravy, obviously.
Oh, for sure. Drowning in it.
Yeah, it's drowning in it. So on the side, you've probably got some fries. So you got a little ketchup over there for your fries, and you cut off a piece of that chicken fried steak with the gravy on top, and you're like, while it's on the fork, I'm just gonna dab it into that ketchup. It's wonderful. But
so ketchup and gravy.
Yeah, those are two. Yeah, the ketchup and gravy is one that I don't really do in public anymore because it really tends to rub people the wrong way.
Pizza and ranch. I think for a lot of topping combinations, it doesn't really change. Like pizza and ranch is really good. It's a combination of the bread, especially the crust, man. The crust.
Yes. It's my go-to. When you get to the crust, it's what I look forward to. I hope there's some ranch around so that I can just douse this crust in that ranch.
Okay, question. If you're gonna dip your crust, do you leave any sauce on the crust, or do you clean the crust off? Like your last bite of pizza before you start going to just crust, is there sauce left? Because I always leave sauce.
Most of the time, I think it's crust only. I think I try to make it like a breadstick, as opposed to having any sauce. I'm not opposed to that because there are times where I just don't. I can't wait for the ranch any longer. You've got.
I needs it.
Yeah, you have another bite. There's like half a pepperoni up there and maybe an olive or something. You're like, okay, well, it's ranch time because this will fit in the container that holds the ranch now. I can really make use of it, as opposed to that's really all pizza is sometimes. It's just eating enough of it until it fits the small little bowl that holds the ranch, and then you can dip it in there.
Yeah, so that on a slice of pizza, that first bite goes really well, and then you kind of alternate. You have to start like making little angles to dip it in until you get to the crust. You can go vertical.
Oh yeah, and then you're like a notary public, just stamp, just right in there.
So we are dip fans. Obviously, we're talking about dipping things: ketchup, gravy, ranch. But peanut butter chocolate, that's got to be up there in terms of elite combination. Fries and soft serve. I was never a fan of the fries and the frosty. Again, it boils down to like sweet and salty, but also like the hot and cold, which I think is a thing with some people. I'm not a big fan of hot and cold.
That was more of a
mix,
thing. I just put there because I know that it's a popular one, and that was something.
It's grown on me, but it's not like I have to do it.
Can you tell I grew up in a small town? So we would try that at Dairy Queen too, and it was fine. It was okay, but it never turned into my thing either. But I know that a lot of people really like it, so I felt like I had to throw it in there.
Do you think if Wendy's were to change the texture to like a crinkle cut, you'd see a lot more people? You can actually get a good amount of frosty on there?
That's a good point because Brahms doesn't really do soft serve.
No, they just do.
But they do have the milkshakes. And they have crinkle cut fries. I don't know. I just don't know the sturdiness of the crinkle cut fry is a little bit. They're too springy. They're too springy once you start applying vertical pressure on them.
Okay, but the Brahms sauce though.
Oh man, I love that stuff. Yeah.
We may also need to rank or power rank restaurant sauces, Brahms sauce,
Chick-fil-A sauce.
Yeah, like house sauces that the Whataburger sauce, whatever
spicy
you call it.
Ketchup.
Okay, that's good. Whataburger sauce they put on some of their sandwich, not good.
Yeah.
Ketchup and white gravy is now on the list. We need more, and then we'll do like we'll rank restaurant house sauces, and this will have to include places that make their own ranch. Like Wingstop Ranch is going to be hard to beat. Dion's Ranch is going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, those are
both up there.
Those are the two that I immediately can think of.
Dion sells it in a freaking bottle, man. You just like you go to Dion's like your pizza's mid at best. I came here for your ranch.
I have gone through the drive-through. I have ordered ranch on the website because I didn't want to get out and just got a bottle of ranch in the window and went home.
Okay, so one, obviously, if we're talking about how good their ranch is, their salads are also pretty good.
Yes. And they're Greek. They're Greek dressing. I would place the Greek dressing almost on par with the ranch based off how much I like it and how it's really hard to compete with anyone else.
Okay, so you said some of your weird combinations.
Yeah. Okay.
One thing I need to throw out there. I'll add. It's not really weird. It was more of just how I was raised and like. Okay, so when we had spaghetti growing up, this may have been more with my dad. It was never served with like water or soda or whatever. It was spaghetti and milk. And so like
Oh,
when
really?
we have spaghetti night now at the house, like I want a glass of milk with my spaghetti. It's kind of like, you are so weird. I was like, I'm like conditioned at this point. I eat spaghetti, I have to have a cold glass of milk.
You got to get your
She grew up
calcium.
she grew up in a large enough family, like they didn't drink milk like we did. Like
Yeah.
there was 3 of us in the house for a lot of the time I was growing up, and then 4. And even then, like my stepdad was not a huge milk drinker. It was mainly just me and my brother. Mainly just me. But like that was one of those weird things that like I learned that not every family drinks milk the way I drank milk, because I would go through a gallon myself, easy.
Well,
She's like, "What are you doing?" Because she's one of 5
yeah.
siblings, so there's 7 in the
It'd
house.
have been impossible to stock that
Oh,
house with
no.
milk.
Yeah, so like they would have a glass of chocolate milk on the rarest of occasions. She can't drink straight white milk either. Like that's the best kind. Like chocolate milk's great, but like I can drink it cold out of the carton, like and house half of it, delete half the bottle, and then start thinking, am I about to have a gallon challenge
Oh, God.
interaction here? No, I've never done that, but by the way, anywho's spaghetti and milk is up there for me.
You
OJ
made
and pizza on there. What is that about, man?
Okay, here's some houses are abundant with milk, others are abundant with orange juice. So my parents, or my mom specifically, insisted that I was lactose intolerant as a child. So, and who knows? There's reason to believe that that was probably true while I was a baby, and then it stopped at some point. But we never bothered to figure it out. So I was just not allowed milk, and there was no milk in the house, and it was not something I wanted or drank, and all my other friends drank it. And you go to school and just milk everywhere, and I'm like, yep, can't have it. So anyway, I discovered orange juice at some point, and around that time they started. It was like the Tropicana Pure Premium and the Florida Natural, like the really good stuff started coming out more than just the frozen can of Minute Maid and the which I drank my fair share of. I still remember. I remember the Tupperware thing that mom would make it in with the wooden spoon, and it had like that lid on it, and it was like an orange or some sort of Harvest Gold, or
with like
y'all know what I'm talking about. The lid
would have like a push button on the top.
Yes, you know
Trying not to say the other word that is real more appropriate for what it is, but yeah.
But everyone had that.
We did. That's our juice pitcher.
We were an orange juice family, and I especially was. And the older I got, the more I just really liked it. That was like my if I wanted something to drink that wasn't water, it was probably some form of orange juice. So I learned, for good or bad, that it went with a lot of different things, and I feel like I've talked about this some before. So I'm just going to rattle off. I agree, and this is something that I still want to do on occasion, but I know better. We don't buy orange juice here because I drink it too fast, and it gives me heartburn now because I'm old. But I would drink orange juice with pizza. I would have it with spaghetti. You saying that reminded me that I really liked it with spaghetti. I had it with fried burritos. So we'd go to Allsup's, get some burritos, and sometimes
you'd go to the cooler to go get an OJ.
Yeah, or we'd come home and see. My mom's thing was buttermilk, not milk, but buttermilk.
Never drank butter. I've used it to make butter.
Yeah,
but never.
So her that was her and her mom's thing, and they had all sorts of things they would drink buttermilk with. And what was really funny is Allsup's burritos was what she would drink buttermilk with, and what I would drink orange juice with. So we'd like come home, and we'd pour our completely separate elixir glasses of things, and I'm sure Dad was just cringing the whole time, wondering what are these people doing. He was probably just having a Diet Coke like a normal human. Mom's over here with buttermilk, and I've got orange juice housing beef and bean burritos. The other thing I would have it with is pound cake. I that may be my favorite pairing. Orange juice and pound cake. I've talked about it before, but the pound cake that our family made was a 7-Up pound cake that had like lemon extract in it. And then Dad got to where he would make it, and sometimes he would add vanilla and almond. He'd kind of mess with the extracts a little bit. It was so good with orange juice.
Well, if you're adding in the lemon, you're starting to make a connection there with the citric acid. But
yes,
my goodness.
And then last but not least, this is definitely not something I do anymore. I would buy a block of cheese in high school or in college. Mild cheddar, Colby Jack. Pour me a big tall glass of orange juice. I'd sit down with my block of cheese and a knife, and I would just house a bunch of cheese and drink orange juice.
You were too lactose intolerant to drink milk, but I'll put away a half pound of cheese like nothing else, man.
Mild cheddar's low on the lactose scale, turns out.
Okay.
So that was my weird one, was orange juice and a bunch of random things.
Some other things, spaghetti and milk is weird, but like I said,
I agree.
Conditioned. I was also
what
introduced.
Can I say?
Like this is also through my dad on spaghetti, and I introduced to Tabasco. He would put Tabasco on his spaghetti. Probably why he drank the milk. Let's be honest.
I would try that
because a Tennessee boy was not up on the spice. But Tabasco on his spaghetti, which I still do to this day, like a spicy sauce, and like of all the things that like me and my dad are complete opposites on, like spaghetti with hot sauce and milk.
Okay, let's do it.
That's a Rogers family tradition from Smyrna, Tennessee, coming through to this day. Preston can attest that was a thing in my house.
And this may not be that uncommon, but a couple that I always heard that my grandfather would put gravy on pound cake. I always heard that. He was gone before I was around, so I never knew if that was true. But everyone always said that. And then this one's probably not that crazy, but a lot of things pair well with ham. If you think to a Christmas or an Easter, someone's made a delicious ham.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there's some mac and cheese over here. Oh yeah,
ooh, ham
those
and
belong.
Mac and cheese.
Yeah, those belong on the same fork.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let's throw this out there. There's like a Cool Whip based fruit salad over here. Let's put a little of that on. Let's put a little of that on the fork, and then let's get a little piece of ham, and marry that. No, I lost you. Okay.
No, but again, the hot, cold, sweet, salty combinations. Like I understand it. I've never tried it. I don't know if I would, but
that's a good one.
I'm not saying you're weird for it.
Oh well, thank you. Because, I mean, I know it's probably true. Another thing I discovered too, as much as I like black-eyed peas and cream peas and purple peas and whatever peas that people make, they are so much better with hot sauce. I didn't discover that until 3 or 4 years ago. Whatever you got lying around, just put some hot sauce on it. Oh yeah, Cajun peas. I'd go for that.
Mm-hmm. Lima beans, black-eyed peas. Hold on. Okay, so the other South thing that comes out, ketchup goes on black-eyed peas.
Get out of here. No, what?
Also goes on tamales.
Okay, I have seen
a straight tamale, I'm like
yes.
in place of like a carne sauce or whatever on top, like tamale with ketchup. Slaps,
that is
it's
common.
Mississippi to its core.
Well, and I know of quite a few Hispanic folks who that's how they eat tamales too. I mean, it's not like you immediately think, oh, that's just white people doing something weird, but it's like, no, it's not just us. I think it's a pretty common thing for a lot of folks. It's not a common thing for me, but it probably will be for my daughter. She loves ketchup.
You should have seen how we were probably on the verge of getting kicked out if it wasn't a family function. Like when we first were going over to my stepdad's family's house, like he's Hispanic. His parents had immigrated. So like first generation Americans, but we're over there Sunday dinner, like Easter, whatever, just big thing. They're tamales. Like I asked for ketchup, like what? What is this gringo doing?
For my tamales.
Like, I'm gonna go sit over here with the other white person left because there was one other white boy in the family, also from Tennessee. Shout out to Ralph.
Get some ketchup over
here. He didn't put ketchup on his tamales, but he'd been in the family long enough. Like you don't do that crap around the Rosales family. you save it for at home.
Yeah, you take some leftovers home and you maybe even eat them in the car.
But they were like, "Oh,
with your smuggled bottle of ketchup."
Oh, Arthur's stepsons are coming over. Y'all be prepared for the ketchup on the weird things. It was only one weird. It was on the tamales. But yeah, no ketchup and black eyed peas. That's how I learned to eat them.
Never
on
heard
New
that
Year's.
one. Never heard of that one.
Because we grew up. You eat black eyed peas on New Year's.
Sure.
And I couldn't get over the taste or texture.
Yeah.
I was a ketchup fan. Like then put ketchup on. I was like, oh, game changer. Okay.
Well, and I learned this too, that the way my mom makes black eyed peas is way different than the way my wife's mom made them. Because my wife's mom's from Florida, like the panhandle of Florida, and lived in Kentucky for several years. And then my mom is from the plains of West Texas. And let me tell you, the two of them
very different panhandles
make peas very, very differently. I like them both. I like them both a lot, but I will admit after sampling others more, my mom's would be a little bit. She doesn't probably cook them down as most people do. But that's how I grew up eating them. They're almost
bits of ham or bacon in one of these versions.
Sometimes, yeah. Well, especially with especially with my mother-in-law. She's usually got some sort of gigantic ham hock that she'd save in the freezer that she threw in there, or there's a bunch of bacon. Not as much
beans
with my
and
mom.
bacon, or beans and ham. That's just ham in general.
Yeah, bacon and lots of things.
Bacon is like bacon and like ketchup and.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
All right, that was like 20 minutes of food.
Got one more
actual question from the people, from Kyle. His question: what's something you're confident you eat more of than 99% of the population? And he gives his example. I average about 8 Oreos every single day without fail. Been that way for years. I'm not confident I eat something regularly enough that I would say I eat more than anybody else. Maybe ice cream. Samantha and I, as much as we've been health conscious and we've been shedding weight like crazy, the main thing is you just have to be in a calorie deficit. Once you know, like I just need to be under a certain number, you can kind of plan out your day. We plan out and have a full serving of ice cream at the end of our day. Is it the best for it? No. Until we stop losing the weight we want to lose, and we have to reevaluate that. Ice cream probably, because I like I said, I have a serving easy five nights a week, if not more.
Mine is going to make me sound healthier than I am, but mine's a banana. I eat at least one banana pretty much every single day. And so I would say I average 300 plus bananas a year, just because I know there's times where, these got rotten. I didn't eat them fast enough. So let's throw them in the fridge, and then my wife will make banana bread at some point. And by fridge, I mean freezer. Sorry.
Of course.
But yeah, I think, because I had to look this up to see, well, is that really that crazy? But I think the average person has 90 bananas a year. And I feel like if I'm getting into the 300s, I'm probably up there. It's just such a portable fruit. It's so easy to take with you to work. That's like my 11 o'clock, 10:30 snack every single day at the office. And then if we have some on the weekend, I have some then. But it's just hard when you go to the store once a week. You don't necessarily want to buy 7 bananas because then by banana 5, you're just eating mush.
Sure.
And I don't know how many I want. Anyway, that's
Okay.
got to be it. It's got to be it for me.
Because you said that, my screen's different because I'm on a Google search now. So the light on my face is different. I had to look up what the average American eats in terms of ice cream. It's higher than I thought it was, Michael. 20 pounds of ice cream per year. 4 gallons or 48 pints. Do you think you eat 4 gallons or 48 pints of ice cream in a year?
I don't think I do. I mean, as a family, we may only eat 5 half gallons
So
a year.
here's the thing.
6.
I almost hate to admit this. We are going through probably between Samantha and I a half gallon a week.
There you go. See, I think
So
that's
I'm probably putting away a pint a week.
It's 52 weeks.
One of those
That's 52
pint and a
pints,
quart,
man.
whatever it's called. And that is
It's above average.
that's barely above average. Though.
I
Like,
know.
there's no.
I know.
48 pints. Like, or maybe I'm underestimating how much I'm actually eating. But like I said, we have ice cream most nights. I thought it was gonna be more than that, but anyways. But there's nothing else I eat regularly enough that I would say I eat more than like anybody else. I have a Greek yogurt in the morning for breakfast most days, but
Yeah.
it's just a single serving cup of Greek yogurt.
And probably a lot of people do that. It's a good way
Or
to
they
start
have
the day.
something, or they have something similar where they have it consistently, or they have the same lunch every day, or
Yeah.
whatever it could be.
We change things up quite a bit, especially
I like variety.
Yeah, I like variety quite a bit. My wife especially does. So, and she's cooking 99% of the time. So we change things up quite a bit. And I even thought, man, well, as much as I love
Reminds me.
burgers, it's got to be burgers. And I looked it up, and I think the average person eats 1 to 3 burgers a week. And I'm like,
Wow.
well, even on a good week, that's about the most I would like. Last week I had 3. Oh, it was so great. It's a good week. But normally I have 1 at the most. I may go a month and only have 2, Spencer. It's tough.
When we were eating out, not worried so much about it. I was probably eating 2 to 3 burgers a week. We've cut down, and not that like burgers are by themselves all that unhealthy. I mean, they're not great for you, but we've also gotten into turkey burgers, which have been a game changer for us.
Oh yeah, different toppings, different things to kind of mess with, wheat buns, all sorts of good stuff.
I'll also throw this out there because I was resistant to it. Brahms introduced us to, well, one, they were doing it on a burger or a chicken sandwich, but like bacon, avocado, and queso. Oh, that sandwich goes hard, man. On top, so like,
yeah,
if we want a burger, but like we want something a little different, bacon, avocado, and queso. Ooh, that hits. Anyways, yeah, but like even then, like you say the average American eats between 1 and 3 burgers a week. Like I was eating maybe 3 burgers a week, maybe.
Yeah, I think.
I don't now. Sure. That's probably still 2 on a good week. And there are still burger places in town that I want to go try, and I like no free ads, but like Wrecked, I want to go try. I've heard good things. There's other mom and pop shops that have been around for 60, 70 years. I still want to go try.
Yeah, the average American eats about 60 burgers per year. So 1 to 3 was wrong.
So 1 to 2,
little over 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Per week.
All right. So Kyle, I don't know. Ice cream is my best guess. It's not 8 Oreos a day. Good gravy, dude.
Banana's got to be mine.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap this up with what we learned and then get us out of here. I thought we were going to be short. We just spent the rest of the time talking about food, which is how we roll.
Typical.
All right.
What did we learn, Palmer?
I don't know, sir.
I don't know either.
All right, Michael, what did we learn?
The wife and I got to meet my best friend and his wife in beautiful Colorado this past week.
Nice.
Went to a concert, went to Red Rocks, had a great time.
Oh, wow. Who'd you go see? One.
Saw Jason Isbell.
Okay. Solid.
He was great. Excellent show. His ex-wife opened for him, which was interesting.
Odd,
went fine.
but
It went well. I mean, she was on the bill for the longest. She was on the bill before they got divorced, and I'm surprised it still happened.
awkward.
Yeah, very. It was very awkward the whole time. But anyway, one of the highlights of the trip, outside of getting to hang out with some great people, was going into a bar straight up at noon in Golden, Colorado, which I don't know if you're familiar with this.
Isn't that where Coors is based out of, supposedly?
It absolutely is.
Okay.
So just walking into a bar that's been around since the 40s, sitting down, beautiful sunny day. I mean, just the sun is glaring. It's 70 degrees. It's cool in the shade. The wind is blowing. And you order a Coors Original banquet beer on draft. And they bring it to you. And I am not kidding when I say it's probably one of the top 3 to 5 experiences I've ever had drinking a beer. It was phenomenal. I have since bought a 6-pack of Coors Banquet beer since we've been back in Lubbock. Trying to recreate that, absolutely cannot. And I think that's how they get you, because they just know you've got to go back to Golden and walk into that dark bar right at noon and order that same pint and just go, this is perfection. It was borderline life-changing is what I put in there. And I was telling folks on Twitter, I was about to start getting on realtor.com and trying to figure out how much real estate was in Golden, Colorado, but I didn't want to die of shock.
Well, also, I mean, I don't want to venture political, but is Colorado a state you want to live in?
Sure.
I don't know.
They've got banquet beer.
Got the mountains. You could be a little bit more reclusive, I guess, but you can also be reclusive in the plains of Texas. So,
yeah, you can. The plains of Texas are they have banquet beer too, but it's just not the same, man. It's not the same.
You can be close to the source, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I've got to tap the Rockies. I've got to be right there. Rocky Mountain water. Which there's a river running through town, obviously, because that's what brews the beer. So flippin' cold because it's snow runoff, and it was just, I couldn't believe how cold that water was. And then you see the locals going around; they're wearing like tank tops, shorts. They're
ready for summer, man.
They're like, this is the warmest, best day it's been since September or whatever. And they were loving
60
it.
degrees.
Yeah, I'm out there with a jacket on and you know, a beanie and stuff, and they're just like, no, what is this? What's this Texans guy's deal? Meanwhile, there was a young woman who was on an inner tube in her bathing suit floating down this freezing cold river, and then she got out and she walked past us just leisurely holding her inner tube. She's soaked to the bone. The wind is howling, and she's just thrilled. It's all relative, man. She's
Wouldn't
like,
be me.
This is the best day ever because it is finally 70 degrees and it's not snowing. Whereas I'm over there thinking, how are you alive? I would have died of hypothermia. No, she's good to go.
I'm sure it's a combination of many things. Blood pressure medication, hydration, weight loss. But like, if I drink a 32-ounce drink, water especially, I will literally shiver. Like my body temperature drops. Like it could be 85 degrees outside, but if I house water, cold ice to the touch, fingers are blocks. This woman was inner tubing, in snow runoff.
in a freezing Colorado river in May.
Nope. Couldn't be me. Not anymore. I don't know. I never really liked cold water, anyways. But no. I promised a Little League update. Tease it a little bit. Grayson got the start on the mound tonight. Our little winless Tigers, like, we have 3 games left tonight, Thursday night, and the next Monday. We've never played anybody twice, so it's like I don't know if these teams are any good. Rankings wise, they're a few spots ahead of us. We lost the team right ahead of us last week, and it was not even close. It's like, well, it is what it is. Grayson on the mound, mowing them down tonight. I was like, holy crap! Like, just shove it to the coaches that always put you in 4th instead of have you start games. He was shoving tonight. Thing of beauty. Also, offensively, there was a new lineup tonight. Spread the kids out like the good hitters were not just 1, 2, 3. We were getting kids on base. Everybody was making contact. Grayson hit a triple tonight.
Ooh.
Little league triple, but the ball got behind the outfielder. And
he's like Ohtani out there.
He's not the most fleet of foot.
Don't gotta be if you're hitting triples.
Hip flexibility thing, one leg longer than the other. It doesn't matter. He runs like Gumby. Just some kind of awkward gait. Made it to the 3rd. Hitting triples, throwing strikes. Ended up winning. He gave in 3 innings, gave up 2 runs. But it wasn't like they weren't hard hit ground balls or, big base hits. It was a walk, stolen base, wild pitch, throwing error on, that's how they scored the first few runs. So, but super proud of how they all came together. Grayson had himself just a fantastic game. Won the game. Got himself a snow cone after the game. He was pumped. It was also hot. It was like I don't want to tie like success. Like you can only have a snow cone if you're good at baseball.
Yeah.
It was also like 90 degrees today. It was hot. He was flushed. I was like, you also like. There were other games where it was like he wasn't into the game.
Sure.
He was just there, but like he was in it tonight. He was successful. He was trying. He was showing effort. Was also doing well, but was doing everything else right too. It was like, let's get a snow cone tonight, man. He's like, yes. Best day ever.
What flavor did he go for?
Root beer.
Really?
But it was down to root beer, pickle, or blue coconut. He's like, Dad, pick 1, 2, or 3. I was like, 3? He's like, that's root beer. Let's go. I was like, okay.
Those are rough choices, man.
I also told him like, don't do cherry. Please don't do cherry.
Let's not have to wash this jersey like 14 times.
Grape was also in consideration. That's gross.
What? Grape's great.
The artificial grape taste, like blame on Robitussin or Diamond Tap, like it gives me a headache. I can't do it.
We may
I
have
love
to do
grapes.
But we may have to do snow cone flavor ranking sometime too. I am the most boring snow cone flavor enjoyer, but I do have some thoughts. I have some thoughts.
Okay. May not win another game. Doesn't matter. This is before the game too. Going from dinner to the game, he's like, Dad, like unprompted. I was so proud. I was like, I had to hide it for a second. Like, Dad, like, I think I want to play fall ball this year. Like, you want to keep playing baseball this year? You want to keep playing? I was like,
okay, we'll talk about it. Yeah, sounds.
I'm sure we could. The issue is
you're fist pumping so hard that you tear your shoulder.
The car is vibrating. Is something wrong with the car?
No, it's fine. Fine. It's good. It's good. Yeah. We'll talk about it. Go for a catch.
And Mom's like, okay, we'll talk about it. Because she teaches a class through our church Thursday nights, and it's been difficult this year, but also just kind of understood like we'll get him where we can, and we'll just kind of rotate which night she's able to teach if he has games Thursday night, and she alternates with her co-teacher, co-facilitator. She's like, if he has game, like if he does have games on Thursday, I'm just gonna have to stop being a teacher. Also, we are out. I'm playing on Sundays. That's for us. That's family time, church time. We're not doing athletics. So like we'd have to find the right fit. But now the research stage is on. I was like, okay, let's figure out who's playing where, when. See if we need to sign you up as like a free agent, or if we need to find a team to get you on. So baseball may be continuing. He will not play in the Cooper postseason. Obviously, he's not an all-star. Won't be all-select. His team's not making the city tournament this year.
Yeah.
But he still wants to play. I was like, hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. So, all right, man. That's it for me. You got anything else?
No. Let's
go
head
mow
to the
your lawn,
off-season.
everybody. Go mow your lawn, fertilize it, water it.
Feed it.
Feed it. All right. Well, that'll do it for us. 23 Personnel Podcast. Easily half food and middle league tonight. But if you know us, that you know that's our wheelhouse. Baseball's got some work to do. If you want to make even the Big 12 tournament, one, you got to be successful this weekend, and you need help from Baylor. Gross. But that'll do it. For Michael, I'm Spencer. We'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you for listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast. Help us out by subscribing, rating the show, and leaving a review. Follow us on Twitter at 23 Personnel, Spencer at PuntSuck, and Michael at Michael_LBK. Be sure to catch the next episode. And until then, guns up and let the tortillas fly.